Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Tammy Salsa, a licensed mental health therapist and author of Lessons from the Listening Lady, Adolescence and Anxiety, a family guide to making the mind, body, spirit connection. I'm really glad you're here. Today, we're going to talk about something that I believe has a huge impact on how we experience life, and that is victim consciousness. And even more importantly, how you can shift that mindset to a healthier, more empowered version of yourself. It's all about taking control of your life, your emotions, and your future, no matter where you're at right now. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Okay, so let's start with, what is victim consciousness? Have you ever felt like life just keeps throwing obstacles at you, no matter how hard you try? Things keep going wrong and you feel like you're just being punished by the universe? You know, that constant feeling of being at the mercy of everything around you, that's what we call victim consciousness. It's very much that woe is me. Victim consciousness is when you see yourself as powerless, when you feel like things are happening to you rather than for you. You start to believe that your circumstances are beyond your control and that life is unfair. And here's the thing, it's a trap. It can make you feel stuck, frustrated, overwhelmed. And when you're in that mindset, it's really hard to see a way out. It's also important to understand that it's not life's circumstances that are the problem. It's the story that you're telling yourself about life circumstances that creates this victim consciousness. So let's say you lose your job, right? You get fired. A victim consciousness will create a story that may sound something like, my boss is a jerk, the company did you wrong. You might blame your coworkers. You may think that your boss has always had it out for you. He's never liked you, right? And you create this story about how you are the victim of this circumstance. Now, let's take that same circumstance of you losing your job. An empowerment mindset might say something like, everything happens for a reason, and this gives me the opportunity and time to focus on creating something that I've really been passionate about, or starting my own business, or spending time with my family, or taking that trip you've always wanted to take. And it takes the same circumstance of losing your job and creates an empowered mindset of, now you have time and space to do something that you love, and you understand that this is happening for you, that it's setting you up for something maybe even greater in the future. But here's the most important part. It's not your fault that you fall into this mindset. There are so many reasons why people end up feeling this way. Past trauma, unmet needs, or even just the stress of everyday life can push us into a victim mentality. But the good news, you don't have to stay stuck there. Victim consciousness holds us back in a lot of ways. Psychologically, it can lead to feelings of helplessness. It's like you believe no matter what you do, nothing will change. There's a theory called learned helplessness that explains this perfectly. It happens when we've tried to change a situation over and over again and nothing works. Eventually, we stop trying and we start to believe that we don't have the power to make things better. Victim consciousness is also used as an unhealthy coping skill. See, victim consciousness keeps us from having to change and having to grow. And our brain loves comfort. It will take comfort over something good, over growth, anytime. So victim consciousness serves us in the sense that if something is happening to me, then I don't have to change. I don't have to take responsibility. I am the victim, right? It's out of my control. But when we move to that empowerment mindset, now I have to look at myself. I have to take responsibility for my role and my actions and the things that have led up to a circumstance. So it's important to realize that while victim consciousness may not be helping you, in some way it is serving you. and it's serving you as a coping skill to stay in what your ego is telling you is safe. But really, it's just keeping you stuck. What happens next? You start to feel anxious, defeated, and maybe even depressed. You feel isolated, like everyone else has it all together and you're just stuck. But that mindset is learned. And if it was learned, it can be unlearned. But it's not always easy. And that's why recognizing when you're stuck in victim consciousness is the first step towards change. Self-awareness is always the first step. So let's talk about how to shift that mindset of feeling stuck in victimhood to feeling more empowered, grounded, and capable. The first thing I want to say is this: change starts with awareness. The simple act of recognizing when you're in victim mindset is the most powerful tool you have. A lot of us don't even realize we're doing it. You might catch yourself saying things like, "Why does this always happen to me?" Or "I can't believe this is my life." That's your cue that you're in that victim mindset. And when you catch it, I want you to pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is there a different way I can look at this? Instead of saying, "This is happening to me," try saying, "This is happening for me." It's not about denying the struggle, but about choosing to see the opportunity for growth, even in difficult moments. It's about shifting from a place of feeling victimized to a place of empowerment. Now let's get a little psychological. One of the best ways to shift from victim consciousness is through something called a growth mindset. I talk about this in my book. This is a concept from psychology that says challenges are opportunities to grow, and my abilities can improve with effort and persistence. A growth mindset is the opposite of feeling like you're powerless. It means you start to see setbacks as temporary rather than permanent. You understand that failure isn't a reflection of your worth. It's just part of the process. For example, let's say you've been working really hard on a project, but things aren't going well. A victim mindset would say, "I'll never get it right. This always happens to me." The growth mindset would say, "Okay, this isn't working right now, but what can I learn from this? What solution can I find? How can I adjust and move forward?" That simple shift in mindset and in thinking can transform the way you approach challenges, and it empowers you to keep going, even when things get tough. Now, let's take this from a spiritual perspective. Whether or not you identify with a specific spiritual path, many spiritual traditions teach that we are not victims of life. We are actually co-creators of our experiences. This can be incredibly liberating to understand. When you see yourself as an active participant in the flow of life, you realize that you have a say in how things unfold. Spiritual practices like mindfulness and meditation help us understand that we are more than our thoughts. We are actually the observers of those thoughts. And that means we can choose to change them. If we start to view life as happening for us and not to us, we can see the bigger picture. Even challenges have lessons. Even pain has purpose. This mindset allows us to step out of victim role and into a role of empowerment, where you see yourself as capable of healing, growing, and navigating through life with ease and grace. Okay. So here's the real question. How do we move from victim consciousness to an empowered mindset on a day-to-day basis? Let's break this down. Like I said before, self-awareness is key. Start by noticing when you're slipping into victim mode. Pay attention to your self-talk. Are you blaming, complaining? Are you focused on what's going wrong? And I want you to catch yourself and take a step back. Then we always have gratitude. Start a gratitude practice. Even on the toughest days, find something you're grateful for. It shifts your focus from scarcity and lack to abundance. Then we have affirmations and positive self-talk. Replace negative thoughts with positive, empowering statements. Instead of "I can't do this," say "I have the strength and wisdom to handle this." Mindfulness. Practice staying in the present moment. When you're present, you're not ruminating about the past and worrying about the future. You're grounded in this moment of what you have control over right now. And then I want you to take inspired action. Empowerment is about doing something. Even small steps towards change can shift your mindset. Whether it's making that phone call, setting a boundary, or starting a new project, take action. Shifting from victim consciousness to empowerment is a journey, and it doesn't happen overnight. But every step you take in the right direction is a victory. Remember, you are not powerless, and life is not happening to you. You are capable of creating change, and you have the power to shape your own story. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more content on mental health and personal growth and development. And remember, you are strong, you are capable, and you are enough.